It was the wild. The savage, frozen-hearted Northland wild. But there was life. Abroad in the land and defiant. Down the frozen waterway toiled a string of wolfish dogs. Their bristly fur was rimed with frost. Their breath froze in the air as it left their mouths, spouting forth in spumes of vapor that settled upon the hair of their bodies and formed into crystals of frost. Ever since I first read these words by Jack London in school, like many of us, I've been fascinated. And this winter, finally, I was able to shoot a photographic series about legendary Norwegian dog musher Sven Engholm.
Okay, I'm ready.
This is a behind-the-scenes look at a photographic series about Arctic sled dog mushing.
Maybe we can do it again.
To me, a large part of the fascination with photography is where it takes you. Photography opens doors and it makes you go out and observe. And then you're doing your very best to capture the essence of what you just learned with the camera. My name is Vincent. I'm an expedition documentary photographer and probably best known for photos in vertical or remote environments like climbing and alpinism. But in general, I'm drawn to understand and photograph humans living in or exposing themselves to remote or challenging environments. And dog sledding is something I've always wanted to document. To me, very few things transport this call of the wilds so vividly as a team of dog and musher traversing Arctic remote scenery in harmony as a team. It's late February at 69 degrees north in northern Norway. The drive here already gives me a first glimpse of what to expect. This year is where the lowest temperature in Norway has been recorded at below -50 degrees. That's cold. And the yearly average temperature is below zero. I mean, maybe it doesn't really come as a surprise that this is the home to a legend in dog mushing. There is 3 main dog races in the world. The Iditarod in Alaska of 1,800 kilometers, the Yukon Quest in Alaska and Canada of 1,600 kilometers, and the Finnmarkssløpet in northern Norway of 1,200 kilometers, which is also the northernmost one of them all. And Sven and his dogs won Finnmarksløpet 11 times and finished Iditarod top 10. And up there, north of the Arctic Circle in northern Norway, is where he lives.
I came here 43 years ago and built up the place step by step. So I spent most of my adult life here in Karasjok with the sled dogs. I love to work with the dogs, and I have made my choice for the life.
My goal for the next couple of days was to understand what creates this appeal and to capture some of that with the camera. In a photographic documentary or series, you usually go to a place or witness a moment and you try to capture the essence of what you see on behalf of the viewer. Sven is getting ready for a puppy training session. The puppies are now 9 months old and they get trained every day on a 10-kilometer training round to develop their strength and endurance. I'm invited to follow along on the snowmobile. Working alongside Sven is Emma. She's a full-time professional dog musher and one of 3 young women working with Sven.
So Emma's helping. We're going down with the snowmobile to hopefully get some parallel shots, drive-by shots. Holy shit, these guys are fast. Oh wow, oh, it's beautiful.
travel in the nature and you really feel that you are on the way. So the opposite, to travel with a snowmobile, then you are moving from A to B, but dog sledding, then you are to be on the way, it's the most important.
Once we were down by the river, Emma and I changed over to the snowmobile. I of course wanted to take some film of the dogs running, which looks very beautiful, and I brought a gimbal with me, which unfortunately died on the way north. Which was unfortunate, because these snowmobiles really are not a very stable platform to shoot from. 120 frames per second slow motion, that really saved my butt, because it does stabilize the footage considerably when you slow it down. And that's why most of the scenes of dogs running in this film are shot in slow motion. There was this fading blue hour now, and everything was illuminated only with the moonlight and headlamps. And there was one photo I just had to take before we would all head back home to the kennel. I have 100% trust in Sven, Emma and the dogs, but I will say that it was exciting to traverse these woods with just a headlamp. Emma and Sven told me that the biggest danger is actually not bear or wolf, but in fact moose.
It's happened in 1 year during the night, and I didn't use the headlamp because it was full moon, so I could see the terrain. We were following a small creek. Then the team stopped, and I turned on the light, and I saw there was a moose was standing in the team. When I was ready to shoot, I was afraid to. When the moose tip over, it should start with a cramp and to span the legs and maybe hurt the dogs even more. So I was waiting for a long time, maybe a minute, maybe or longer. And then after the moose lifted the legs and came out of the team, and then I could go to the dogs and see. And there was 5 dogs that was so very badly damaged of the moose. I had to put them down, all of them.
Whenever I do a photo project, I do like to do some research beforehand. I certainly don't need to be an expert in the field, but I do think it's a matter of respect towards the topic or towards the people that you have a basic rough understanding of what is happening. So what I learned in my research was that traces of dogs being used to pull sleds can be traced back 9,000 years ago in Siberia. There is a long tradition to use sled dogs in Greenland, and there is a long pre-colonial tradition in North America as well. Interestingly, the only northern area in the world where this apparently has not developed is Scandinavia. During the heroic age of Arctic exploration, it was Norwegians though, like Fridtjof Nansen or Roald Amundsen, who became the first person to reach the South Pole in 1911, who relied heavily and quite mercilessly, one has to say, on Arctic sled dogs. But the rise of motorized transportation was inevitable, and snowmobiles and new roads took over the role of working sled dogs. And utilitarian mushing evolved into touristic, competitive or recreational mushing to keep the tradition alive. I'm catching up with Emma, who is just coming back from another training run with the puppies. It's great to see how fond she is of the little ones.
Their mother is our best leader, or one of our best leaders, and their father is a dog from a kennel in Sweden. And their father has actually gone, I don't know, about 2 or 3 times. So they have a good breed. Hello, Zeta. Zeta is a very, very sweet little girl. She's a bit small, but she runs very nice. And she's beautiful. Okay. Skal I finne hus til dere? Huh? Find you guys some houses? Yeah. They love people and they love attention and cuddles from whoever it is, really. Okay, should we find a house for you? Yeah. Okay, and there's Nora and Maria with food.
This is Nora and Maria, the other 2 professional mushers living and working here.
It's 18 kilos in each. So like, what is this, a ton? No, 500 kilos. It's 800, yeah. So this is what we use for the soup in the morning.
A series usually comprises of several photos which each show different facets of what you are observing, and ideally these photos and facets join together in the end to create a story. What I personally like to do beforehand is ask myself a couple of questions, like what is happening, where is it happening, why is it happening, who is involved, what are the emotions, what are the challenges maybe. I also like to keep a range of motives in the back of my head. It's almost like a checkbox or a to-do list, which gives me peace of mind because I know what I already have and what I ideally would still want to have. And that can be arranged from portraits to more contextual photos, from quiet moments to loud moments, from dynamic photos to more formal graphic photos, from establishing shots to close-up shots. And ideally, in the end, these will all come together to convey an idea of a place and to tell a story.
Setting up a little portrait session here.
For a series like this, portraits are obviously at the very core. I wanted to shoot tightly cropped portraits, as well as some that are a little more contextual. I really liked that this looked somewhat similar to some of the 100-year-old photos of Roald Amundson's South Pole expedition, where the photographer already used a blanket or a curtain as a kind of backdrop for a contextual portrait in full dress. I wanted these portraits to feel as crisp and clear as the whole surrounding felt to me. And over the course of 2 days, I invited the entire team whenever it seemed fitting.
Oh God, he's so peaceful in your arm there. Little baby.
Here in this workshop, we like to cheat a bit with the fire because we have some diesel here.
I think in a photographic series, it's as important to try to understand what is happening in front of the camera as it is to actually take the photo. I want to know a little about the people that I'm taking a portrait of. I want to know what motivates them, what drives them, what the challenges are maybe.
You learn so much every day. It's never a boring day here. You know, we work with the dogs and we work with each other and with Sven, who got all this knowledge. And we're very privileged to be part of this place. Once you've gotten the taste of this life, it's hard to go back for sure.
Have you ever had the situation with you still being so young that guests came here and were like,
To be honest, I also think it's because we're women.
Yeah.
We have to show what we can and show ourselves every day.
It's like you have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, of course, men. Especially if it's like a father coming with his family. You have to prove that, okay, I'm not just a little girl smiling and having fun with Nora. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Especially if the dogs are, you know, if they're fighting or there's a situation where a guest like loses their team and you have to fix it, and they see, okay, these girls actually know what they're doing and they take control. You can really see that change, just because you have to prove yourself in some way.
Not happy with one particular screw there?
No, there's a lot of screws here I really don't like, so we're gonna pull out the big guns now. I like that one.
When the conditions are nice, it's peaceful bliss. When they run, the dogs turn quiet. The snow dampens all noise and you're gliding virtually silently through the landscape. But it's not always like that. I accompanied Emma on a one-day excursion. She was guiding 3 dog teams with guests. There was almost a meter of fresh snow covering the tracks, so she brought 12 dogs just for her own sled, as they would do the hard work of breaking trail. But in some areas the snow was so deep that even they did not find the right trail. So Emma had to go ahead, break trail, and guide the dogs in the right direction, fighting her way through the deep snow with all the responsibility. It's just doing this for a few meters is incredibly exhausting. Good job on that deep snow section. Holy shit, that looked tiring.
It is tiring. You're walking with snow up to here and waiting around trying to find the track. But yeah, the dogs didn't find it and then they didn't want to go there, so that's why I had to.
Yeah.
Why I had to go ahead and try to find it for them.
It was very impressive. Also, at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm lucky that I'm here in the back.
Yeah.
Finally, back home, the day is not over. There is hungry mouths to feed.
This is 14 of these sausages, and they weigh 6 kilos each. So you do the math on how much 53 dogs get in a day. It's quite a lot. So feeding is of course very important. And I would say Freya is in pretty decent shape, a little bit skinny. So you're gonna get a bit today, huh? Yeah. See? Varsågod. Yeah.
In the wintertime, these dogs don't just need one hell of a lot of calories, they also need one hell of a lot of love. So after being out in the deep snow for hours, then taking care of the dogs, it had become dark. But instead of going to bed, Emma went to the workshop to fix a broken sled.
I'm changing a brake that broke on the sled on the scooter mat over here. So we do everything ourselves out here. So yeah, I'm very dedicated to the dogs and to the life. You know, since we live here, we do everything here. That this is our life. We don't have much of a life outside of this. And I'm okay with that because I really love this. So I'm very glad that I have the opportunity to be outside as much as I am. And of course to be with the dogs. He has so much experience with dog mushing and dogs and wildlife and everything. You know, he's a legend within dog racing, so it's a great person to learn from. That's a problem. It's a big problem, actually.
Even though I was obviously not happy to see Emma feeling down like this after such a day, I am happy about the photo because it shows honest, real emotions. It's not staged.
Hey, Sven.
I think battling the elements for days on end on a sled dog expedition to a lot of people is not very relatable, but these honest human emotions definitely are.
Yeah.
patient.
That's not something I'm very good at. But I have to learn. Okay, but we'll put it on hold for today. We'll try it tomorrow again.
Not try. You do it tomorrow.
Do it tomorrow. The focus is on finishing, not on finishing too fast. So that's the plan for tomorrow.
I obviously took every chance I could get to jump on one of the sleds, and because there's puppy training every day of the week, puppy training it is. I've been up here for a couple of days now, and I really get along nicely with everyone. It almost feels like I'm part of the team, and that allows for some very relaxed time together.
Try to not fall off. We're like sliding further and further away.
Scary.
I believe it's important to develop a trusting relationship with the people you photograph, because after all it's about authenticity, and ideally I'd like the people to forget that I'm there with the camera, which only works if they feel comfortable around me. When they are out with guests, Emma, Nora and Maria are these super responsible professionals that you can really depend your life upon. During those puppy training rides though, they allow me a glimpse into their more private life.
Now you need to throw your camera away. Nora is white. I'm not.
I experiment with longer exposures here to capture some of the speed and dynamics. There isn't really any rule, and for me it's about finding a balance where you can still get a sense of what you're looking at, but it's abstract enough to be interesting. In the series I imagine this to work really well alongside a more formal image for contrast. I think it is important to reflect on your role as a photographer, because after all this is not a commercial assignment, and I can't direct everyone the way I want to. I'm being allowed into these people's lives and they work, so I'm trying to distract them as little as possible. But this was just puppy training and the situation was super relaxed, so I asked them for a favor. But that would mean that I would have to lie down on the ground and have myself be run over by 12 strong dogs.
Hey guys, I'm gonna make it comfortable.
But then I'm afraid that Maria's gonna drive into you, dude.
Yeah, maybe she can try to stop before hitting me. And also you tell me, right? And I'll try to roll out.
Yes.
But Marie, try to stop.
I will, but yeah, I will just say roll. Yeah, I will also say roll.
Yeah, but also try to stop.
Of course.
Good. Holy shit. All for the picture. Okay, I'm ready.
How did it look? Was it worth
because
it?
I recorded it in super slow motion, so the result will be like well.
It wasn't perfect, but
That was like half a second. The first dog.
yeah.
But maybe we can do it again.
Yeah, if you want to do it again.
Of course I wanted to do it again. It's a good example for why it's so nice to be able to record everything internally though. An external monitor would almost certainly have been damaged. It was also very cute when we came back to the kennel and the dogs were being unleashed from their harnesses. One of the big puppies immediately came running towards me as if to say, "Hey, are you okay? Sorry, we ran over you." They are just the cutest and total machines at the same time. Until then, I had only been down at the kennel and the surrounding valleys, which was very nice, but I felt like it was important for me to actually get up onto the Finnmarksvidda, which is this Arctic high plateau where most of the expeditions take place. So I decided to embark on a 4-day-ish ski tour on my own in the tent, to hopefully get some landscape shots that would give context to the whole series. And that was incredible.
Everything's quite frozen, but it's working really well. Wish I could say the same thing about my hands.
The temperatures now dropped to below minus 30 degrees at night.
Comfy warm bed has never felt nicer. Camera looks like it's been in a deep freezer for a couple of days. Well, which I guess it has been. Working flawlessly though.
Oftentimes, the world feels like it's in non-stop overdrive to me. Ever louder, ever faster, and screaming for attention. This out here is the polar opposite. This is as far away from the noise and the daily distractions as imaginable. This is the ultimate reduction of complexity. This is one step in front of the other, 25,000 times a day. In the evening, put up the tent, build a wall, melt snow for water, eat, and preferably try not to die. It's really that simple. It's reduced to the absolute essentials. When there is no wind, the silence is infinite. There is not even much to look at. It's all just shades of white. And when there's a whiteout, really all you see is white. Oftentimes, the only thing you see is your own trail on the ground. A few days after I started my ski tour, 3 dog teams led by Emma and Nora would depart in the same direction. So before I departed into the backcountry, we sat down over the maps to make plans on where we could meet up at the edge of the Finnmarksvidda. And that plan actually worked out. There was really just one photo left in the back of my head that I really wanted to take, and that was a dog team traversing the endless white of the Finnmarksvidda, and this was my chance. As always, the dogs are extremely eager to go and can't wait to run, and then it's finally go time.
With a dog team, you have to have good relation to each individual. When you feel that the dogs understand you, and you feel that you understand the dogs, and you can work in this team and make it like a unit. The dogs are happy, and then you are happy.
This is the last photo that I felt was still missing in the series. The dog team and Emma out on a long trip. Cameras are made to tell a story. So to me, the print on the wall, it's a beautiful conversation starter, it's a wonderful memory, and maybe most importantly, it's a reminder to get out there and point the camera at stories I'm interested in. And sometimes, in doing so, something truly beautiful happens. Like getting so close with the team, you're allowed to adopt one of the puppies. guess the stories we direct the camera at, in hindsight, become the stories of our lives. Well, that was cheesy. What is true?